Welcome to Addicted to Astrology at 3:12 a.m. in the morning. Why? Because shout out to my friend Rissa, who does my nails now. She's practicing, and I like to support those who are practicing. So she's done my nails. It takes her a little while. I did have a late appointment, but it was about 4 to 5 hours. Yeah. Then got locked out of my house. The lessons of today are to figure out how to cut some time out of your busy day, and always remember your keys, because your kids will bug you the whole time you're out the house, and as soon as you get here, they fall asleep and they can't answer the door. Anyway, today we are talking about Chiron Retrograde. It is retrograde season. Excuse me. Most of the planets are in retrograde. Not all, but most. All of the outer planets except Uranus are in retrograde. Starting with Pluto is in retrograde until October. Neptune is in retrograde until about the same time. All of them end in October except Chiron, which ends in December. It started July 15th. Today is July 17th, so we're 2 days in. Jupiter and Saturn are both in retrograde. Venus goes into retrograde at the end of the month. Yes. I think that's it. But that's a lot. So we have a lot of lessons to learn. What is Chiron retrograde in Aries in 2021 teaching us? Because Chiron was in retrograde last year in Aries. This year, Chiron is in retrograde at 12 degrees. Let's take a look so I can make sure I know what I'm talking about. I'm looking at Astro Wheel. Chiron is in 12 degrees retrograde in Aries. That means any aspects with the cardinal signs, yet again, Aries, Libra, Capricorn, and Cancer, need to pay close attention. What is Chiron like in Aries? My Chiron personally is in Taurus. Maybe about 2025, when Chiron is finished with Aries, I will have my Chiron return. I believe Chiron is having a return for the United States sometime in next year. I have to give you more details on that. Because we are definitely concentrating on the Pluto return. I know this is about Chiron, but yesterday's transit began a 4 to 5 day, give or take, before and after of the the Sun in Cancer opposing the Pluto Capricorn in retrograde. That is a big deal. That, again, I've talked about in the past weekly episode, and I might dig into it a little bit more depending on the outcomes of it this week in next week's weekly episode. Chiron in Aries often involves important experiences of disappointment. I'm reading from a book because out of all my books on my shelf, this one, The Mythic Astrology, this is the one that my mother actually gave me from doing our birth charts when we were younger, as well as my kids' birth charts when they were younger. So shout out to mommy. Chiron in Aries often involves important experiences of disappointment in the individual efforts to assert his or her identity. Before I continue, Chiron is in between the two planets, Saturn and Uranus. Saturn is the old world, Uranus is the new world. The story on Chiron, really briefly, the wounded healer, considered an asteroid. Uh, who was he involved in? And I had this story written down. I should have had this prepared. He got his heart broken. I want to say by Venus. Correct me if I'm wrong. But he's called the wounded healer because even though he was wounded himself, he still continued to heal others that ultimately made him heal. So Chiron's main goal for us in retrograde lasts 5 months. Like I said, it ends in December. We are learning to see what healing we need to do, especially from childhood. Chiron again is in the 12th degree, which is like the Middle Ages, but early, still like the young adult stage. Chiron makes us ask ourselves, especially in retrograde, why do I protect myself in this way? Why do I react this way? What are my triggers? What I need to heal from my past? Is this protecting me or is it restraining me? Those kind of questions. And in Aries, for any person born with Chiron in Aries, persistent and unfair resistance from others may seem to arise whenever he or she tries to do anything original or self-expressive. The family background may reflect unfulfilled dreams and undeserved frustration in the achievement of personal goals. Profound understanding may be gained through a willingness to accept with grace what one cannot change in life, while retaining courage, initiative, and sense of self-worth. So basically, especially in Aries, the first sign has to deal with our first instincts on life and what we need to heal from. Aries is a fire sign, so it's something that's like burning up in us, something that we really must figure out, along with all the other lessons and retrogrades that are going on. It's time for you to revise how to figure out how to heal and get through certain pains that have been dealing with you forever. Let me give myself an example. My Chiron being in Taurus, and any fire Chirons. So again, have your birth chart. If I've done it, I have done some Chirons for people, but if you need to know, it's not hard to find out. You can also use astrocharts.com. Cafe Astrology doesn't use Chiron too much, so I would go to astrocharts.com. But any of the fire Chiron, which would be Chiron in Aries, Chiron in Leo, and Chiron in Sagittarius, you're going to have a sense of life being unfair through frustration in creative endeavors and individual self-expression. Mine is in Taurus, so all the Earth Chirons, Chiron in Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, you will sense life is unfair through material frustration. This is very fitting for me. And feelings of limitation or inhibition in physical life. I'm surrounded by Tauruses. The only placement I have in Taurus is Chiron on my chart. And even though I'm a Scorpio and I'm the exact opposite of a Taurus, I definitely feel frustration when I can't get material things. I grew up in a very materialistic house. I'm from Washington, D.C., which is a very materialistic city. And I do always feel that there's a limitation with me getting everything I want. And then my lesson that I'm learning is that I'm becoming a hoarder in my eyes, not in everybody's, but I just have too much stuff, in my opinion. And I'm starting to teach my children, who I have impressed this materialistic life onto, to go through some things and give away some things. Either we give them away to people we know, or we give them away to people we don't know that are in need. That is my lesson with Chiron in Taurus. The Chiron in Aries is the effects on the collective right now. So as a collective, we need to heal from our childhood. And I definitely get that because a lot of us are holding on to things and it's harming our relationships, which is the opposite of Aries. Aries can be very self-centered, egotistical. The opposite is Libra, which is more centered on relationships and building relationships and fairness, harmony, and diplomacy. And I'm a Libra stellium, Libra ascendant, Libra north node. My Pluto's in Libra too. That's another story though. Really quick, Chiron in water signs reflects a sense of life's unfairness through emotional inhibitions, feelings of hurt, limitation, or isolation. As a fellow sun water sign, Scorpio, I definitely feel that. And those of you who have Chiron in Cancer, Chiron in Scorpio, or Chiron in Pisces, it'll be okay if you heal. Lastly, Chiron in Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, the air signs. This is a sense of life's unfairness through frustration and communication. I can relate with that too because I have a lot of Libra in my chart. And a sense of isolation from larger human family. All right. Back to Chiron real quick. In 2021, and I wanted to pull this from Dr. Stanley, but I couldn't find it. So I'm going to go to Conscious Reminder. This is consciousreminder.com. The wounded teacher helps us outgrow the pain. So I don't know if any of you are feeling like me right now, especially with Chiron and Aries over the collective. Remember, the collective signs have to do with the outer sign, and Chiron sits right in between Saturn and Uranus, which is the last inner planet and the first outer planet, which is why this definitely affects the collective. The usual planets retrograde every year. Thus, this energy is part of our yearly natural rhythm. Every year we are learning some kind of lessons. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm still sunburnt. What was I thinking? All right. Chiron was added to the mix of retrogrades on July 15th. Technically, Chiron is not a planet. It is an asteroid with an orbit in between Uranus and Saturn. So, just confirmation, I'm reading from this website that I know what I'm talking about. All right. However, even without being a planet, astrology considers working with its cosmic energy very significant. Chiron was a centaur. Okay, here goes the story so I can remember what happened. The myth says that Chiron, being abandoned when born, had to survive on its own from a very young age. But as it grew up, it converted these wounds from a difficult upbringing and abandonment into healing portals. Chiron's wounds were the key to their power as a philosopher, psychic, teacher, and healer. This is the reason behind its title, A Wounded Healer. The decision of Chiron is also a notable point needed to understand its energy. Saturn's energy is very rooted and grounded. Uranus, on the other hand, is considered to have high vibrations. The energy of Uranus can produce awakenings and increase in Kundalini energy. The centaur can be a bridge between the two conscious states. Excuse me. So sometimes it is also called a rainbow bridge. It stands for the link between the two consecutive states of consciousness. The idea is explained in greater detail in Egyptian astrology. I haven't really known the difference of Egyptian astrology and the others, so I can't confirm that. Their Chiron is known as Anupu, the god overseeing lost souls in the afterlife. Let me move over around. The objective of Chiron retrograde energy should not be used for achieving perfection via healing. So we're not trying to get perfect. Instead, it helps us acknowledge and accept our wounds so that we can be wiser through the experiences. So in layman's terms, learn from your mistakes and move on. Move forward always. Chiron does not want to heal us to make it better. So it's not like we're putting a Band-Aid on this time. It hopes we can learn through these wounds to make powerful portals to power, wisdom, and knowledge. This information can be used to research to reach a fuller and greater potential. This healing work level is related to transcendence and not fixing ourselves. So this is why this Pluto retrograde transit has a lot to do with transforming ourselves and rebirth, and so does Chiron in a nutshell. Since Chiron is presently in the headstrong Ram sign Aries, the energy is even more amplified. As a result, we are supported even more to have the courage, confidence, and strength that may arise with directly confronting our wounds. We must view them as potential points and not pain points. It will remind us that being strengthened, motivated, and inspired by our wounds is more beneficial. Use the Chiron retrograde energy to think about the lessons taught by your wounds. Think of them and know about them. Perhaps some judgments can be released and you can accept the pain associated with them. Ask yourself, what pains are most present? What are some things you learned from this pain? You can also remember a past painful wound. Then ask yourself, what inspiration you gained from it. Moving forward, what other inspiration can you provide with? Can provide you with? Can it provide you with? Excuse me, y'all. Well, I'm going to work hard on releasing those that have released me, but still continue to kind of run my mind sometimes, or even me not trying to control the situation all the time and not letting somebody run my mind. Or I want to say the hurt with my parents, but I want to say the hurt with my parents because it hurt me that I just went down south again and didn't get to see my father or my kids see their grandfather. And we're going to a funeral in a few hours too of my daughter's aunt. So it's kind of hard to heal, I guess, is what I need to work on when people that hurt you are not willing to heal with you. So that's what I'm discovering. I'm discovering how to heal without the possibility of the person I'm healing from or the situation I'm healing from still lingering around. I don't know. But thank you for listening, and please, if you find yourself needing to heal from something, just as hard as I'm trying to figure it out, shout out also to Naomi Elliott. It's time for me to get into my shadow workbook. Shadow work is so necessary when healing, and unfortunately I can't tell you that I've worked that much, because it is a scary thing to kind of start facing your fears and doing things you have never done before for yourself, but you know it's necessary. So anyway, I'm teaching everyone abundantly, empowering many, Zakia enlightening every day, TMZ. This is Gidalyfe Astrology. Thank you for listening. This was all about Chiron retrograde, but of course, every retrograde is a lesson. We've talked about all the other retrogrades in my retrograde episode, so please check that out. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you have not already. And I will see you on the next episode. Peace.